I love the Olympics. I'm the guy who stays up until 2 in the morning watching as much coverage as he can and then sets his alarm for 5 a.m. just to catch more. Every day for 2 weeks. Especially the Winter Olympics. The Winter Games have always been my favorite. Because for me, the Games have never been about sports, not truly. They're about people. Yes, we're watching humans perform at the very edge of what's believable. But what moves me isn't the finish line or the scorecard. It's the journey that brought each athlete to this place. The years of sacrifice, the setbacks, the quiet moments of doubt, and the stubborn refusal to quit. Those stories are what gives the performances meaning. That's also why, unlike most people, I become less patriotic during the Olympic Games, not more. Flags matter less to me than heart. National anthems matter less to me than character. In that moment, borders fade, and what's left is a simple, universal truth. I root for human beings who give everything they have for a single chance at greatness. For the next 2 weeks, I'll be sharing one story a day from Olympic history. But these won't be tales of record-breaking triumphs or predictable national glory. There are already plenty of those. Instead, I'll be telling you the stories that you probably haven't heard. Stories of athletes who never came close to a medal, yet gave everything they had. Stories of strange Olympic sports that time quietly left behind. Stories of unexpected romance, political intrigue, and even competitors who tried to bend the rules in pursuit of victory. They're stories about the margins, the misfits, and the moments that don't always make the highlight reels, but somehow linger the longest. I promise they'll be thoughtful, surprising, and a whole lot of fun. We start today with what's known as the greatest hoax in Olympic history. The Olympic torch is one of the most indelible icons of the Games. But for several decades, many regarded it as an abomination. Why? While the torch itself was introduced at the 1928 Summer Olympics in Amsterdam, the relay that has now become synonymous with the Olympic flame was invented by the Nazis for the 1936 Summer Olympics in Berlin. 20 years later, the Melbourne Games in 1956, around 3,000 runners carried the Olympic torch across Australia from Darwin to Melbourne. An estimated 30,000 people lined up to watch the torch pass by in Sydney, and when they saw the runner finally drawing near, they began cheering with all their might. The torch runner was dressed in gray slacks, a dress shirt, and a tie, not the sort of outfit many in the crowd expected. He soon delivered the torch to the Lord Mayor, who'd prepared some inspirational remarks. But a few moments later, one of the mayor's aides whispered something in his ear. He noticed that his hands were covered in wet paint. What he was holding was a wooden chair leg covered in still wet silver paint, with an empty food tin nailed to the top. Inside the container was men's underwear doused in kerosene. When the mayor and his staff looked around for the runner who delivered the torch, he was nowhere to be found. Just a few moments later, another runner with the real torch arrived. Needless to say, he was quite confused. It wasn't until the late 1990s that the runner's identity was finally revealed. Barry Larkin, a veterinary student at the University of Sydney, wanted to protest the adoption of the Nazi ceremony at the Games and conspired with 8 other students to make a statement the world would remember. He wasn't even the one who was supposed to carry it, but a friend who'd planned on making the run and was appropriately dressed chickened out at the last minute, and Barry decided to see the thing through to the end. After he snuck away from the mayor's speech, he returned to class, where he was given a standing ovation. The public was mixed. Some found the prank humorous, others agreed with Barry's motives, while still others decried his actions. Barry Larkin was never punished and eventually became a successful veterinary surgeon in Melbourne. Be sure to watch the opening ceremonies tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow for another amazing story from the Olympic Games. Stay curious, my friends.